It is time for week 2 of the NRL Finals. But before we get into anything, you know what I want. Push the subscribe button, like our video, write in the comments if you are backing us or you are fading us in our tips. Now, let's get into it. Opening game of week 2, we have the Cronulla Sharks hosting the North Queensland Cowboys. Well, hosting is a term used very loosely with this game being at Allianz Stadium. Now, the first thing that comes into mind is North Queensland's form away from Queensland this year. Usually, it's been a little bit of a problem for them, but they've actually won 6 of 8 games away from home and in New South Wales. Now, the other worrying stat is, of course, Cronulla's current losing record in the finals that extended to 7 games with their 27-point loss against Melbourne in week 1. Now, they haven't won a finals game since beating Penrith back in 2018 in week 2 of the finals there. So get that hoodoo right out of the way. But I'm definitely looking at backing the Cowboys to win as the underdog, especially considering they've won their last 3 games this season when coming in as an underdog. Now, we dissect their week 1 performances. Now, in this one, it was really 2 opposite performances. Cronulla got absolutely dominated by Melbourne. Melbourne had 66% of the territory in the first half, and then had 75% of the territory in half 2. So they did a lot of work, much more work than what Melbourne did. So it's no surprise that they did get blown out in the end. They made 824 less run meters than what Melbourne did. And they also had to make a whopping 142 more tackles than Melbourne. So there's no surprise that they got absolutely pumped in the end because they were just doing way too much work. Now, on the flip side, North Queensland did a similar sort of thing to Newcastle. Obviously wasn't as dominant, with them only sealing the match with 2 front rower tries in the final 10 minutes of the game to seal things. So, yeah, North Queensland had 66% of the territory against Newcastle, and probably one of the biggest stats to come out of that game is that Newcastle only had 3 tackles inside the North Queensland 20 metres. Now, the most positive thing for Todd Payten was how his team responded, going down 12-4 at the half and coming out and winning the match 28-16. So usually North Queensland this year have had some real problems defending in the second half, but they only allowed Newcastle to score 4 points in the second half. So is this a turnaround in North Queensland's form? But we'll definitely see this week when they go up against Cronulla. Now, the tips here for sure are definitely backing North Queensland to win as the underdog. And then I also like the team total of over 19.5 points. North Queensland have scored 20 points or more in 8 of their past 9 games. And we know how clinical they are, especially on the edges. Kyle Feldt is the try scorer in this game. He's scored 12 tries in his past 7 games, scoring in all 7 consecutive games there. So Kyle Feldt for your anytime try scorer and getting some pretty good money considering those statistics. There are the 3 best tips for this weekend. Now remember, gamble responsibly and happy punting.